Hello guys! In this video, we are going to continue working with tag questions, but in this case, using the simple past. So let's start. Here you have some sentences with the simple past. As you can see, the simple past as well as the simple present is divided into groups. One of the verb to be and the other one with other verbs. Number 1 and number 2 are examples of the verb to be in the past. She wasn't very famous. They were English teachers. Number 3, 4, and 5, and 6 are examples of other verbs. I played soccer yesterday. My brother saw a movie last week. We didn't play video games. My sister didn't eat chicken last night. So we are going to start remembering how we make sentences using the verb to be in the past. As you can see here, the verb to be is divided in two, was and were. When do we use was? When we have the subjects I, he, she, and it. And we are going to use were with we, you, and they. The negative form is like this. We are going to use wasn't for I, he, she, and it, and weren't for we, you, and they. Let's remember that the contraction of wasn't is was not, and the contraction of weren't were not. You can use contractions or you can use full form. How can we make tag questions using the verb to be? For example, when we have an affirmative sentence, our tag question is going to be a negative one. We have, he was happy. Our tag question, wasn't he? They were surprised. Our tag question, weren't they? You see, affirmative sentences and negative tag question at the end. What happens if we have a negative sentence? It's going to happen the opposite. If we have a negative sentence, our tag question is going to be positive. For example, he wasn't relaxed. Our tag question is, was he? They weren't late. Our tag question is, were they? As you can see here, we are also using the same subject at the end. He. They. It's very important to remember that. So it's time to practice now. I'm gonna give you a minute to complete these sentences using tag questions. After the minute, we check together. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Then you can play it again. Okay, so let's check our answers. She wasn't very famous. Here we have a negative sentence. So, the tag question has to be in affirmative. Excellent. So the answer here is, was she? Very good. Number 2, they were English students. This sentence is in affirmative. So, the tag question is in perfect, in negative. So the answer is, weren't they? I was happy yesterday. This is an affirmative sentence. And the tag question has to be in negative. You are right. So the answer is, wasn't I? We were at home. This is in affirmative. So the answer, weren't we? Very good. Let's continue practicing. You will have 2 minutes to complete these sentences using tag questions. Please read the sentence carefully. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Then you can play it again to check the answers. Okay, guys, it's time to check our answers. Number 1, I was hungry yesterday. The tag question is, wasn't I? Very good. You weren't at home. Were you? Perfect. Mary wasn't a teacher. Was she? My cat was big. Wasn't it? Very good. My cousins were really noisy. Weren't they? Remember, we have to use the same subject pronoun as the principal subject in the sentences. In number 3, we are using Mary as a subject, but Mary cannot go in the tag question, so we replace Mary with the subject pronoun she. The same is going to happen in number 4. You have my cat. My cat, as it is an animal, I cannot say wasn't my cat. I have to use the subject pronoun that can replace it, which in this case is it. My cousins, in number 5, we are using a plural noun. We have to replace my cousins with a subject pronoun, which in this case is they. Well done, guys! Now, let's study the other verbs in the past. When we talk about other verbs in the past, we have to remember that in simple past we have regular and irregular verbs. For example, graduated, watched, and studied are examples of regular verbs in the past. They are regular because we only add the ed at the end of the verbs. We also have the irregular verbs. For example, met, went, had, felt, made, found, became. These are examples of irregular verbs in the past. Here you can see what the base form of these verbs are. So we are only going to use regular or irregular verb when we write sentences in positive form. What happens when we have the negative form? In the negative form, as you can see in all the examples, we are going to use the auxiliary didn't. And the verb is not going to be in the simple past form. The verb is going to be in the base form. It means that no changes need to be done in these verbs. So here we have, look at the underlined verbs. They are in the base form. How can we make questions using the simple past? Look, here we have 2 sentences in affirmative form. You studied for the test. Patty went to the park. So, if we have an affirmative sentence in the past, we are going to use a negative tag questions. So, if you have you studied for the test, our negative tag question will be, didn't you? Patty went to the park. The tag question is, didn't she? You see, here we have affirmative sentences and our tag questions are going to be in negative. What happens if we have a negative sentence? The tag question has to be in affirmative. For example, I didn't play soccer. Did I? Paul didn't feel sad. Did he? And as you can see here in the last example, Paul is the subject, but we are not going to use the name Paul in the tag question. We are going to replace Paul by he. The same happened here. We had in the sentence Patty, but Patty doesn't go in the tag question. In the tag question, we have to use she. Very good. Now, I'm gonna give you a minute to complete these sentences using the tag questions in the simple past. Remember, if you need more time, you can pause the video and then play that again. Very good, guys. Let's check the answers. In number 1, as it is an affirmative sentence, we have to use a negative type question, which is, didn't I? In number 2, also we have an affirmative sentence, so the tag question will be, didn't he? Very good. Remember, we cannot use the subject, my brother, in the tag question. We have to use the pronoun he. Number 3, we didn't play video games. This sentence is in negative, so the tag question will be, did we? In affirmative. Excellent. My sister didn't eat chicken last night, so the tag question will be, did she? Very good. Remember that we cannot use my sister at the end in the tag question. We have to use the subject pronoun she. If you don't have any questions or problems, you can do the next activity by yourself. Yes, you have 2 minutes to write the appropriate tag question for these sentences. And remember, if you need more time, you can pause the video and then play it again to check our answers. Very good, guys. Let's check our answers. Luisa did her homework yesterday. The answer is, very good, didn't she? Number 2, we ate fish and chips last Sunday. Didn't we? Perfect. I didn't read that book. Did I? My friends didn't call me last night. Did they? Well done. My brother did exercises. Didn't he? Excellent. Remember, we don't use my friends or my brother in the tag questions. We have to replace them with a subject pronoun. Now, it is time for you to practice. Here you are going to show yourself how much you have learned watching this video. Remember that we have practiced how to make tag questions using the simple past, was, were, and other verbs. You will have 2 minutes to read the sentences and choose the correct tag question. Remember, if you need more time, you can pause the video and then play it again. Very good. It's time to check our answers. Mr. Garcia didn't send information for the exam. A, B, or C? What do you think? Very good. Did he? Why? Because the sentence is in negative. So here we have to use an affirmative tag question. Number 2. You went to school today. Didn't you? Very good, because the sentence is in affirmative. So we have to use the negative tag question. Number 3. Roger Taylor wasn't the lead singer in Queen. Was he? Perfect, because here we are using the verb to be in the past, in the wasn't form, negative. So As we have a negative sentence here, we have to use an affirmative tag question. She lived in Japan last year. Didn't she? Very good. The sentence is in affirmative, so we need to use a negative tag question. Finally, number 5. My grandmother didn't work in her garden yesterday. Did she? Perfect. Because here we have a negative sentence, didn't work. We have to use an affirmative tag question. Very good, guys. I hope this video helped you remember how we can use the tag questions using the simple past. See you soon!